Hello. Today we're going to talk about Minecraft and begin my 24-part series on why creepers are so frustrating. Oh, all right, here we go.
A rogue cyborg.
I just screwed up the intro. I guess we're started just like that. It was a little anticlimactic. Welcome to the Day of the Rake, the show where we discuss things we find interesting and we laugh at things that we think are funny. The show where we are needlessly thorough and we probably give people too much credit. The show where I make a large backlog of work that I could never keep up to. My microphone was off that entire time. The show where the real Boogaloo was the friends we made along the way. The show where we create a time capsule for all the things we think we won't be able to say in the future. The show that is Revenge of the Sis's #1 rival. The show where we ask, why aren't you having an existential crisis? The show where just because you're getting close to middle age doesn't mean that you can't have a bit of teenage angst. Where am I? The show where it's kind of like wandering through the forest with your friends. You don't really know what you're going to find, but it's going to be worth it. The show where technology doesn't just come for us, we come for it. The show where we talk like we have a really big game and then we get beat by an Age of Empires 2 bot that's only set to normal, so that was pretty embarrassing. The show where we sort of begrudgingly talk about politics from time to time, even though there are things we would much rather be doing. Another gamer day. Let's see if we can fix this. The show where we are going to be discussing civilization-ending events. We are trapped in the gamer world. The show where we're the normie and you're the Spurg Lord. You guys will see what I mean. The show where we increase our influence and gradually assert our will over the digital world. The show where we are only ever 100% serious. The show where you never really know whether we're going to be joking around and it's going to be lighthearted or whether we're going to be juggling blood and fire. So we'll see how today goes. The show where it's all fun and games until someone brings out an AR-15 and takes it across state lines. The show where we ask, are you burdened with a sense of purpose yet? If not, why not? It's a good thing. It's a good thing if you're not wrestling with it. One has to wonder, right? I have a bit of a confession to make to start off. I may have spent some time in the gaming world this weekend. Hello. Welcome to the Day of the Rake, the show where today I'm pissed off. The show where we see the writing on the wall, and before long you will too. The show where we are pro-LGBTQ, liberty, guns, Bible, Trump, QAnon. I don't even know how much of that is true. Welcome to the Day of the Rake. I haven't thought of a catchy line for this show. The show where actions have consequences. What? The show where, I don't know, we do things like that.
Normies, get out.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you guys there. Did it look like I was hacking? The show where we inadvertently say very controversial things that then causes very important people to have to watch our silly skits where we have to play Fortnite to escape the digital world and we travel through time. Where's the music? The show where it gets harder to come up with catchy little descriptors the longer you do it, I have to say. Oh man, so spooky. It's so spooky. We're in the middle of Spooktober now. The show where what we lack in natural charisma, we make up for in sincerity. The show where we love everybody. We love everybody. We love the LGBTQ plus community. We love even communists.
We're just getting started.
The show where Sometimes we're a little bit silly, sometimes we're a little bit childish, but we're also deadly serious. Not deadly serious. More serious than you find in other places, that's for sure. Or at least we discuss things that require a lot more courage than I suppose the majority of the population would normally encounter. The show where we know exactly what we're doing, we're right on point, we're high energy, you're along for the ride. The show where we experience political and religious persecution as a way of figuring out what you can and can't say online nowadays. Oh, hey guys, the show where we, as a layperson, try and demonstrate that maybe it's possible for us with a fleeting interest in current events to have a better idea of what's going on than the so-called professional media. The show where we engage in heterodox analysis because the Overton window has become so constricted, it's almost like they are themselves a fanatical religion. Did that make sense? I think it did. The show where minds meet minds to mine minerals. Good morning. I'm actually a man. Did I fool you? The show where we're so grounded in reality that sometimes it might be considered a hate crime, I guess. I have become the mask. That is all that I am now. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm wearing my special anti-death mask. When I wear this, I'm safe. You have to wear one also. If you don't, you hate me and you want old people to die. The show where someone finally gets around to saying what we're all thinking, let's be honest.
Welcome to The Day of the Rake, the show where we discuss the mysteries.
Haven't thought of one today. The show that your mom watches. The show where we are no mask gang. What's up? The show where we're not doing anything sketchy, I promise. Even though sometimes we're running around in the woods with knives. The show where I'm in digital jail now. I'm in jail. In the cell next to me, there used to be Vincent James, Raging Humanist, even Nick Fuentes, but they all got taken away. The show where I said what I needed to say in order to keep my conscience clean. Have you guys? Hope so. I'm in a cave now. I escaped prison. The show where we're not even really trying anymore. The show where we've all got better things to do, but let's do this. Welcome to my new viewers, the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. Welcome to the stream. For those of you who are unaware, we'll edit things and we'll make goofy stories. That's what they do, except for they receive government funding and they collaborate with Antifa to do that. The show where you can take the man out of the game, but you can't take the epic gamer out of the man. Welcome to the Day of the Rake, the show where you gotta get out of my way. The people have to be told. If you'd cared from the start, none of this would have happened. But of course, you must protect Vite's new utopia. And what's one more body amongst its foundations? I got that mask for free because the Chinese messed up. Dang it. This is a little bit immersion breaking when the one guy walks in front / behind me. The show where first they came for the gamers when all they wanted to do was play games. Then they came for the fathers when all they wanted to do was maintain the bodily integrity of their children. Maybe next they're coming for you. The show where it's going to happen. It's going to happen, one way or another. What? I don't know, but that just sounds really ominous. And I think sometimes if you say really ominous things, people invent all sorts of stuff, and it's really interesting to see what they come up with. The show where strangers on the internet seem to enjoy it, and people in my real life pretend isn't happening, for the most part anyway. All I'm saying is, if you guys were doing something like this, I would check it out. I'd throw a comment in there, here or there. Instead, I have to hear about, like, your pets and how much you love your significant other. Tell them that, not me. I'm Batman now. Does anyone recognize this background? It's a little bit iconic. Yeah, we deserve the show that I'm starting to realize is sort of like an etch-a-sketch for my brain. The show that's not just a show, it's a hostage experience. Revenge of the Sis and I, we have a long-standing reciprocal feud. I don't even know how it started, but they were the ones to have blocked out the sun. The show that, it's not just a show, it's also a fraternal organization. 99% of my viewership is male. And I've recently just reached 800 subscribers, so that means that there's a total of 8 females. One of them's probably my wife, one of them's probably like my mom. I don't know if my sisters watch or anything. Maybe we'll do kind of a lighthearted topic today. We're just going to talk about Jews. The show that just kind of keeps on going. I often wonder what more there is to say. Kind of think we've said it all, but I'm also very aware that just because we may be very familiar with these things doesn't mean that everyone's always on the same page. It's gay month. It's I always have to be reminded. Sorry, we're in the helicopter. It's a little loud in here. Welcome to the Day of the Rake, the show where my microphone stand is kind of breaking and always floats in out of nowhere. Today's show, Alex Jones calls me a conspiracy theorist. Welcome to the show. The Day of the Rake, that wasn't like so much my alias as it was a definitive event, a definitive day that came and went. One could say that I entered the military with a very distinct purpose, and that purpose was to see whether or not I still lived in a country where they tolerated a person like me. And when I say that, I mean like ultimately a person who isn't like a woke leftist. I was trying to figure out whether or not there was still place in our government, in our country, in our world for a person like me. The Day of the Rake was the day that we discovered what it was that the Canadian military currently is. You could say that the Leafs of the Canadian Armed Forces have been raked and they've been found wanting. That's the way I see this. I'm currently in the apocalyptic ruins of Vancouver, British Columbia. That's what's out there. We've entered the Pirate Lord timeline. I'm not going to say much more than that.